Welcome to Chiropractic Health Center. We're glad that you chose to let us help you with your healthcare needs. Dr. Whybrew has been serving Northeast Arkansas since 1988. She graduated from Crowley's Ridge College in 1972 with an associate's degree. She then received her bachelor's degree in 1987 in human biology from Texas Chiropractic College. That same year, she received her doctorate from the Texas Chiropractic College. Later, she went on to receive additional training and received her fellow in acupuncture from New York Chiropractic College in 1998. Now, Dr. Whybrew will now give a quick overview of the rationale behind energy medicine, which she has practiced since 1990.
I was going to give you a little talk about what we do in here and why we do it, and so that we can both understand and ask questions intelligently. Okay. This is a picture of your body's electromagnetic field. See these white lines? These are currents in the field, and we call those meridians. They are not nerves, nor do they correspond to any nerves that we know, and they're named after organs that they go to or through. See the colored circles? These are called chakras, and they're supposed to generate your body's field, but I believe they're like substations, and that means they kick in if the main generator goes down. And I believe the main generator is in the brain, and I believe it for 3 reasons. One of the reasons I believe the main generator is in the brain is if one is placed in a field that forces the body's field to go the opposite of the way it would like to go, will become unconscious. Second reason why I believe the main generator is in the brain. If there are organs in the brain, they don't know what they do, like the limbic system. And what I believe the limbic system does is I believe it generates this field. And the reason I believe that is if you're shot right between the eyes, you're dead before you hit the ground. Well, why? Your lungs haven't quit breathing long enough. Your heart hasn't quit beating long enough. Why are you dead? You're dead because they hit your energy center. And it's just like somebody yanked the plug out of the wall. Third reason why I believe the main generator is in the brain is I know that an emotion can block a meridian before it ever exits the brain. Then every organ in this line of energy will be like somebody turned the dimmer switch down on him. He may work, but he won't work like he's supposed to. And that is the mind-body connection that we all know exists. And that is how stress kills. Your body is run through an emotional switchboard. You can block the energy current at the board and cause organ malfunction. 2 practical examples of this field. If you cut your finger, white blood cells rush to this area. Well, how do they know how to go there? They're not connected by any nerve. They're free floating in the bloodstream. We're talking wireless here, before singular. Second practical example of this field. If you cut off a little salamander's front leg, he's going to grow him a front leg. Well, they tried to trick him, and they sewed half a hind leg on there. And they thought, well, he'll just go ahead and grow him a hind leg. But he didn't. He grew him a front leg. And that's because the information isn't coming from here. It's coming from here. So this brain has a projection out here of what this body is supposed to look like. And that is what phantom pain is. Ever hear of somebody that don't have a leg, but it hurts? Or it feels like their boot's on too tight? That's because the brain still has a projection out here of where this limb ought to be. And it still has these currents in it, even though the limb itself is missing. Notice the chakras are different colors. That means they have a different frequency. What makes light a different color is the frequency that it's reflected back at the eye. And now you understand how color affects mood. Each of the meridians also have a slightly different frequency, and that is how essential oils work. The reason why frankincense and myrrh were gifts fit for a king was because they had a frequency that corresponded with the liver and the spleen meridian, and therefore had the longest list of diseases that they cured. And that is why they were given to the Christ child by a wise man. So, When the Lord tells us to lay hands and pray and anoint with oil, He doesn't mean olive oil. He meant one of the 80 different oils that the Egyptians had written down, that this oil was for this disease. And it was common knowledge at the time. You go, well, why wouldn't the Lord tell His people about acupuncture? It's only been around 5,000 years. What if you don't know about germs? And you use the same needles on everybody. Whoops. But the most ignorant Christian could use the oils. They could affect the system. They could probably affect healing. And the worst that would happen is that you'd get oily. And so I think that's why the Father chose to tell us about the oils instead of about acupuncture. But this is the 21st century, and we do know about germs. See these points? Those are command points. And that is how I tell the body I want more energy in the system, or less, or balance side to side, or whatever we're doing. And traditionally the points were stimulated with a needle, hence the name acupuncture. But in here we know about germs, right? So we're not going to use a needle. We're going to use this shocker pin, or I have a machine, or if you're my grandbaby, we use this laser. And the reason this laser works is because it has a frequency of 636 nanometers per second, and that is the frequency of red light. It's also the overall frequency of the entire body. What color is blood? Red. So bottom line, life is frequency. And I'm going to show you how we'll use that information to both diagnose and treat. This is Mr. Marcus Beckner, and he's going to be our model for how two electromagnetic fields interact so that I can test the body. The law of physics says that if his body has electromagnetic field and my body has electromagnetic field, when we combine them, we get current. And that is the principle an electromagnet is made on. So hold this up really strong. And I'm going to touch a spot on his body that's always spitting juice from the brain. And that is what happens when he's sick. So when I touch reflex points on his body and this arm comes down, we're going to know there's a problem there. And then we'll use all of these methods that I've learned to both diagnose and treat.